Well, I've been having the privilege of being with Dom Pérignon for 24 odd years. I've been making it, creating it, and still, I'm telling you, I'm still learning so much. I'm still in the process of learning, of making really I would say, the intriguing singularity of Dom Pérignon out to work on the mystery of Dom Pérignon. It really starts back really centuries ago. The brand of Dom Pérignon carries the name of the spiritual father of Champagne, the Benedict monk of Dom Pérignon, who late 17th century really somewhat discovered, but for sure perfected the winemaking techniques of Champagne. And he was not only a great viticulturist or winemaker, he was the charismatic, leading, inspired figure of Champagne. And he was a pioneer in a way. He dragged the entire community of the Champenoise into what I'm used to call an adventure, and the adventure of Champagne goes on as we speak, and obviously, hopefully, forever, for good. And yeah, he was a pioneer. So you understand that pioneering and creation is in the DNA of the brand of Dom Pérignon. Yeah, I would unashamedly define myself as being the creator at Dom Pérignon. It means that creation at Dom Pérignon goes far beyond the notion of terroir or the notion of craftsmanship. Terroir, yeah, you know the concept, I would say the so French concept of terroir, which is eventually adopted by all winemakers around the planet, which is a system of the climate, the subsoil, and the local culture of the people. And we unashamedly want to raise ourselves beyond the sum of the terroirs together in a blend of Dom Pérignon in a given vintage. Then craftsmanship, yes, there is tremendous craftsmanship in Champagne. It's really by far really the winemaking with the most options. It's a really option game. But, you know, again, Dom Pérignon goes beyond the technicalities. Yeah, creation, Dom Pérignon is vintage exclusively, meaning really coming from one single year exclusively. I mean 100% of the wine is from that one single year, opposed to the rest of Europe being 85. And it's about taking I would say, moving or putting really the constraints into opportunities, taking the challenges from what we would consider still as we speak, we would keep as considering as a cool climate. How long for, I don't know, but as we speak, still is. And there are so tremendous variations from vintage to vintage. You got to deal with as much in quantity, in quality, as in typicity. So you got to turn these constraints into as many opportunities. And it's about taking the challenge. It's about putting oneself, I would say, on the toes, right on the edge. And it's about surpassing oneself to achieve what I'm used to call the extra soul, which makes a hell of a difference between just average and superior and excellence. So it's a scheme of a reinvention, vintage in and out. And whenever we cannot make the wine, I mean the blend to the singularity of Dom Pérignon, the identity of Dom Pérignon, we just write the vintage off, only to say that we don't make it every year. It's, as an average, if we look back at the whole history of Dom Pérignon, it got to be from that sort of 6 to 7 times out of 10, not more. And when I joined Dom Pérignon in 1990, I remember I was always referred to the glorious vintage, meant to be glorious vintage of 1945, which was blended, put to the barrel, and which never came out because my predecessor eventually decided that the wine was not up to par, was not up to the standards of Dom Pérignon. And I felt it was so inspiring, and it has been leading, really, guiding my winemaking since then. And I could give you really the story of 2003, and you all remember, sure do. There was really scorching heat of 2003, as extreme as of all superlatives it could be. You know, extreme heat throughout the year on a very small crop from the spring frost, very forward ripening, such a challenge to proper sound winemaking, so extreme that most people gave it up, and we just hang on to it and decided to go for it, to be competitors and not to let anything away. And we did, and some people tell me with some success. And it was really like a good game, you know, to be competitors, not to let anything go. And it's very rewarding and very inspiring. And I always felt that after such a seminal moment of 2003, there is, in my presence at Dom Pérignon, there will be before and after 2003, with that element of extra confidence, of pushing. The name of the game is really to aim at an absolute, to keep pushing the envelope. And for that, you need enough of self-confidence, you need really the trust of your shareholders, and you need innovation. Innovation at Dom Pérignon is not for the sake of innovation, it's only to support the scheme of creation. It's much in the vineyard as in the winemaking, and I would say down the road in marketing and the association, you know, with the outside creators, as I will cover in a minute. And another element of a risk, 2014. I'm sure you have been all enjoying the mild weather, you know, of the winter. It was all so good to all of us, and yet it keeps making me concerned in the sense that the vines didn't go through the dormants and didn't rest properly for just the coming vegetation. Didn't kill the pest, and then the season is about 4 weeks forward, and it will expose the crop to spring frost with the major risk of no crop at all. So here's the business of Dom Pérignon, one of the iconic brands in the world, and a great status, highly recognized and enjoyed, hopefully. And yet, nothing is for granted. We're so dependent on nature. And you could say, well, it makes it so frustrating. I only feel it makes it so great. So, creation, I said down the road, and I always felt that one got to be put on a stage. You know, words could be the first layer, the first circle of a stage. And then in recent years, since 2005, we have been collaborating with various creators in various fields, and most of the time, people I would call more of a Renaissance man, not to brand their creations into Dom Pérignon. It's not really name-dropping or, you know, so much of brand association. It's more from creator to creator. It's more about mutual inspiration. So in recent years, 2005, we had been working with Karl Lagerfeld for a couple of years, then David Lynch, then Jeff Koons, Bob Wilson, and then I would say Hiroshi Sugimoto just as well. We have been working with designers like Martin Zacchelli and Mark Newson, with a great Chinese pioneer, Lang Lang, who interpreted, you know, compositions on the specific vintages of Dom Pérignon. I think it was the first. And then, Elena, you have been mentioning Ferran Adria. We were starting with a new collaboration off, and Ferran is more than 30. He's a designer, I think, just so visionary, so forward-thinking. Then I could tell you that outside the home place of Dom Pérignon, we are really on a sort of a peaceful conquest of the world, of going and promoting excellence and European values to new emerging markets. The BRIC markets would be really coming first, China in specific. And my duties are definitely more than the actual making. I think it's about talking the wines and knowing the marketplaces as well. Not to adjust anything in the making of Dom Pérignon to the final market, but just to get that energy back to the winery. And just to complete my point that, yeah, one has to export oneself to the outside, to the world, but at the same time, one has to welcome people to the home place of Dom Pérignon, to the home place of Champagne. I think proper luxury is about a connection. And the only way to properly connect is actually to physically meet and have time and develop something more personable. So what applies to Dom Pérignon there in Champagne must apply to the entire community of the Champenoise, not to say to the entire community of all wine regions of Europe. I consider that tourism is crucial in the proper promotion of wine and excellence, and to get to allow the local economies to grow as well. Thank you.